26 of 1963. It contains the rules that Malaya, North Borneo, Sarawak, and Singapore will obey together as a new country. The British Parliament in London also passed a law called the Malaysia Act 1963, Chapter 35. The law provides the rules in connection to the formation of Malaysia, including the release of the Queen's reign on North Borneo, Sarawak, and Singapore. The Federal Constitution of Malaya was the highest law of the land, which made it the most important law in Malaya. After the Malaysia Act No. 26 of 1963 amended the Federal Constitution of Malaya, it became known as the Federal Constitution of Malaysia.
The MA63 was also it became the birth certificate of the new country, Malaysia. 16 September 1963 is Malaysia Day, because it is the day Malaysia was born. North Borneo also changed its name to Sabah. Congratulations to the newborn country. Sometimes there is a confusion on when exactly is Malaysia's birthday. Is it on 31st August 1957? No. That was when the Federation of Malaya gained their independence from the United Kingdom. Malaysia was only born on 16 September 1963.
Then Malaysia received some sad news on 9 August 1965. Singapore was not a part of Malaysia anymore. It doesn't mean that Singapore is no longer beside Malaysia on the map. It meant that Singapore will no longer follow Malaysian law. The people who live there will now follow different laws decided by Singapore itself. Years passed and Malaysia is still standing to this week with Sabah, Sarawak and Peninsula Malaysia, Malaya together. Thank you to MA63, a promise that continues to keep the people's hopes and dreams alive under this beloved country called Malaysia. The end.
Tepukan yang gemuruh untuk anak-anak kita yang membaca. Kami berharap ramai lagi anak-anak di sana akan pick up the book, ya, ambil buku ini dan baca tentang sejarah penubuhan Malaysia. Buat masa ini hanya dalam bahasa Inggris. InsyaAllah nanti kami akan keluarkan bahasa Melayu pula, ya. But I hope this will encourage more children to read the book. And adults too, don't forget. Intipati buku ini biarpun nampak seperti buku kanak-kanak, tetapi intipati buku itu adalah penting untuk kita semua kerana ia memberikan kita maklumat mengenai asas penubuhan negara kita dan ia memberi pengenalan kepada undang-undang tertinggi di negara kita. Apakah undang-undang tertinggi di negara kita? Ada ibu bapa yang tahu? Jadi pada sana kita boleh tanya anak-anak kalau anak-anak membeli buku ini. Undang-undang yang tertinggi adalah Perlembagaan Persekutuan. Dan ia didapati daripada banyak sejarahnya di situ. Maka belilah buku ini, baca dan kita dapatkan maklumat ini. Terima kasih kepada Sabah State Library, kepada pihak penganjur dan Kuala Lumpur. Sebelum kita tamat, kita akan menjemput Tuan George untuk menyampaikan hadiah kepada anak-anak.
Baiklah, kita jemput Encik Joci, Timbalan Pengarah Perpustakaan Negeri Sabah untuk menyampaikan sijil dan juga sedikit token kepada adik-adik comel yang telah mengambil bahagian dalam slot ini. Baiklah, kita beri sedikit ruang untuk sesi bergambar. Baiklah, seterusnya memandangkan Mr. George juga sudah ada di pentas. Orang Sabah bilang alang-alang. Kita akan teruskan saja penyerahan buku MA63 ini kepada wakil dari Perpustakaan Negara Malaysia, dan untuk menerima buku ini kita jemput Puan Aidatul dari Perpustakaan Negara Malaysia. Dipersilakan. Baiklah, terima kasih kepada Puan Aidatul, Encik Joci, Puan Maslianie dan juga Datin Fazar Arif. Baiklah, harap hadirin sekalian masih lagi kekal berada di sini kerana selepas ini seperti saya maklumkan di awal tadi, kita ada slot yang kedua iaitu tayangan video Sabah Diversity. Sama-sama kita saksikan. Demikian tadi tayangan video Sabah Diversity. Baiklah, kita akan beri sedikit masa. Baiklah, pengisian seterusnya ialah slot Bicara Karya, buku Unequal Partners, Race, Religion, Domination and Inequality and East Malaysia. Dan untuk slot ini kita akan ada seorang moderator iaitu Dr. Faraha dari Universiti Malaysia Sabah, dan saya akan serahkan slot ini kepada beliau, dan untuk itu dijemput Dr. Faraha untuk mengambil tempat terlebih dahulu di atas pentas sebelum kita menjemput panel bagi slot ini. Dipersilakan. Dan seterusnya kita menjemput panel bagi slot ini, dijemput Datuk Jo Samad. Dengan segala hormatnya dipersilakan. Kita persilakan juga Sumandak Sabah untuk memakaikan sandai kepada panel kita. Terima kasih Sumandak kita. Dan saya serahkan slot ini kepada moderator. Dipersilakan.
Thank you so much, our MC for today. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good evening to all of you. Welcome to the International Book Festival Kuala Lumpur 2024. And thank you so much for being with us here today in our book review session with of the book with the title Unequal Partners, Race, Religion, Domination and Inequality in East Malaysia. So with me today, I'm Fazar, and with us today also we have Datuk Dr. Jo Samad. I think like everyone know him very well. He is very famous. You will see his face and his name everywhere. Also like if you are a fan or a reader of the news, you must know him very well. So before we start our discussion on the book itself, let me introduce our author, just a little bit background of him. So his real name is Datuk Dr. Johan Arifin Samad. He was born in Labuan. He is a former CEO of Institute of Development Studies and currently the chairman of Sabah Trustees, Sabah Action Body Advocating Rights. So with the pen name of Jo Samad, he is actively writing his opinions article regarding the current issues and affairs to Free Malaysian Today, Malaysian Insight, newswef.com and Daily.
Thank you for having me here on the stage.
Okay, it is very honored to have you today with us to discuss on this book itself. So everyone know this book is a very sangat-sangat laku di pasaran sehingga buku ini sold out and you can't get this anywhere. Okay, but then we will discuss on this book further. So Datuk, can you like tell us generally what this book is about?
Buku ni saya tulis in conjunction of Malaysia 60th year of founding. Like they mentioned just now, Buddha is the birth of Malaysia in 1963, 16th of September. So I decided to collect all the articles I've written in various newspaper media and online media, dan kumpul semua tulisan-tulisan saya dan translate into satu buku called Unequal Partners. So tajuknya Unequal Partner is more related to the Malaysia agreement, like they mentioned just now, which is a contract or the foundation of how Malaysia was formed. So, unequal partners in the sense kita ni sebagainya as partner of Malaysia. Okay, dulu kita ada dalam sejarah partnership with Malaya, Singapore, Sabah dan Sarawak. Okay, of course Singapore left in 1965. So what's remaining today is the Malaya dan Sabah dan Sarawak. So kalau dalam sejarah kita, we should understand the Sabah Sarawak ni sama rata, equal partners dengan Malaya. So itu pandangan kita lah from historical point of view. Dan tapi dalam selepas 60 tahun ni kita bukan sama rata. Okay, we are not equal partners. So tajuk saya lah tu unequal partners. Sorry.
Alright, so what inspired you actually to write about this book?
Inspirasi saya pasal saya dengar dari banyak sources dan tulisan-tulisan orang dan cerita orang yang tidak betul. Okay, bukan tidak betul in any way, tapi wrong
Information.
What you call relating the history of Malaysia. Okay, so I need to correct it.
Yes.
So that's what I did to explain the history, the background of how Malaysia was formed. So I mentioned to you earlier, dalam buku-buku sejarah, say like 365 pages written by famous authors and all that. Out of 365 pages, 10 saja yang 10 muka, 10 pages are devoted to history of Borneo, okay, Sabah Sarawak. Tapi kalau kita banding dengan Malacca Sultanate dengan the Sulu history, I think our history is more interesting, more action.
Yes. I think being a Sabahan yourself, you know better on the history, right?
Yeah.
And I agree that some of the history book outside are somehow not very correct. And in writing this book, like what do you face any challenges and how do you overcome it?
Not many challenges in the sense of writing, because it's a collection of my past articles which has already been published. The challenge is, for my first time, how to put a book together, learning how to put a book together from the cover design, from putting all the recommendations forward, putting the pages in the right order, the references. My book has always references in there compared to other books, because I want people who take up the book, read the book, have some resource for further research, which is very important. Okay, so what I'm saying is that kita cerita bukan we pluck from the air, but we have special references for this, the opinion that I write.
Correct. I think me myself as someone who loves to read journal book, I think it's very important for us as a reader to know either. And then may I know who is your target audience to read this book?
My target audience is people who are interested in current affairs. Okay, I think even foreigners who bought my book because they're interested in knowing the political affairs, economic affairs of Malaysia. When I launched my book, for example, the European Union chief was there to attend my book launch and all that. So there's the embassy and all that have very much interest in this, because my book contains a lot of issues which Malaysia face today. So coming back to race, religion, and so on, this is the kind of narrative hari-hari di Malaysia ni, kita cerita atau bertengkar, berlawan pasal race and religion and so on lah. So it is no good. Okay, tidak bagus in the sense that going forward we don't feel united and we're not united. So I think it's good to highlight that the narrative di Semenanjung ni especially is around race, religion, Malay, Chinese, Indian, and religion. So tapi kalau banding dengan Sabah, kita lain lah. Berbeza because we don't talk about race, religion. We don't have royalty. Okay, so we only have the 2R, race and religion. We don't talk much about that because kita satu kaum, one family, and we live together as one family. So in one family kita boleh ada Christian, ada Muslim, intermarriages and all that, but they're all one family. Okay, sometimes living under the same roof and hopping on this thing. So we have to move on. Yeah.
Yes, true. I believe so too. Not very good for us in order for us to maintaining the harmony in Malaysia itself. And then, like, among all the topics, why do you choose to write about religious and race? While we know that this 2R is a very sensitive topic in Malaysia, right? So if you like start talking, people will get angry over it. Like, what is your overview on that?
Yeah, I mean, I have not very much choice if I'm talking about current affairs because every day you pick up a newspaper, especially in Peninsular Malaysia, there's always this talk about race and religion and so on. Tapi in Malaysia, we have in East Malaysia we have different issues. Not enough water, not enough electricity, poor infrastructure, poor medical facilities. So our what do you call concerns are more down to earth and much more geared towards the people's welfare. Sini, they got so much time to talk about race and religion.
Okay, I agree. And then this is the out of topic question, but then I want to know, like knowing your background, you are studying in marketing and business admin, and like your working experience are more on corporate. So what makes you start writing about something related to sociology and also the political?
Yeah, that's a good question because a lot of people ask me that how they cannot relate me from my corporate life to writing this kind of things. But it came naturally. I started when I retired. I started writing in 2017. I think articles in newspaper and all that, and I began to get more confidence. And I like to thank all those online portals, my friends and all that. They gave me a chance. Okay, write it every week and so on. So as years go by, I gained more confidence, and as I mentioned to you earlier, writing opinion column is not easy in the sense you are limited by the words, say like 900 words. As opposed to writing a book, you can write 100 pages, 300 pages. But if you look around the world, I always, when I travel around the world, the first thing I pick up is the newspaper, because each newspaper will always have an opinion column. Okay, especially in Philippines, they can write very good columns. So I always pick up newspaper readers, and I always admire these people who can express themselves so well in English or their own language and articulate, opinions which resonates with the people of the country. Yeah.
Okay, so in your book, can you discuss with us, tell all of us here, what is the favorite chapter, and what is the favorite case study, or your personal overview in this book that is highlighted the most?
Okay, in my book, in my writings, there's always two of my favorite characters. One is Tun Mahathir, and who's so predictable, and Hadi Awang of PAS. These two gentlemen are very colorful in their expression and so on. As I said, like Mahathir, Hadi Awang also is very predictable. So they always tend to say things which is controversial, tends to say things which are stupid.
Yes.
All right, and so I pick on that and write my opinion. Why they say stupid things, why they repeat stupid things. And what they repeat is also about race, religion, and so on, which is very destructive, for Malaysia. I mean, the whole point of me writing the book is to create a new narrative about respecting race, religion, and so on, and living in peace and harmony.
Speaking of like all these kind of inequalities, right? Like, can you tell us in this book itself, the contents itself, like which chapter that you talk about the inequalities that are received by those people living in Sabah and Sarawak compared to those living in Peninsular? Just for the overview for all the readers here.
Yeah, I always highlight Sabah issues in the terms of unequality. Unequality in terms of revenue sharing, for example, funding for our infrastructure and all that. A lot of people have not been to Sabah. I just attended the book launch this morning, and surprisingly, these are top people who have not been to Sabah at all. So I always say, if you've not been to Sabah or Sarawak, you're not a Malaysian, because we have been here so many times in business and travel. But I think when I talk about East Malaysia, I highlight the politics also, the interference of the federal government in our political way of life, interference in all aspects, and most disheartening issues regarding the people's welfare in terms of delivering Sabah to kampungs and just surrounding Kuala Lumpur. You see how good the road is as compared to they call it Moonraker Road.
Yeah. And then, most, I don't say all, but most, some people might have the overview or stigma or perception about this is people, those people who live in is like, they're actually backward. And like, what is your opinion on that? Or what is your advice to these people
who are talking
who
about
have that Sabah and Sarawak is actually backward?
Yeah, I think it's not fair to say the people here are all like that, okay? Because these are all driven by politicians, actually. If you go to nasi lemak stall and all that, you see Malay, Chinese, Indian mixing together. No issue at all. They're talking about food, they're talking about business, and so on. Tapi when you baca surat khabar every day or dengar dengan TV or whatever, you get these politicians talking about race, religion. I mean, recent cases about stalking yang tulisan Allah and all that. They make such a big issue of it, and becomes very destructive for Malaysia. But we are concerned in East Malaysia. We don't want that image to be carried around the world and say, oh, Malaysia begini, which is not true. Orang Borneo, orang Sabah Sarawak bukan gitu. Okay, we don't make an issue out of this. Mau bakar di kedai lah, it's very destructive.
Yeah, I believe so. Because I think like rather than just believing anything you saw in social media, any people can write anything bad about other races, right? Like rather than you believe it 100%, I think you guys, like all people need to be there and see by themselves how do these people live actually.
Yeah.
And then, all right, so talking about the inequalities, right? So does this book offer any policy recommendations or address to the, the question is, does this book offer any recommendations on the policy regarding the issue discussed, and what are they?
Yeah, in my introductory page, I mentioned the global geopolitical view of Malaysia, where the federal government has to take note of the situation in Borneo sekarang, with Indonesian capital moving to Kalimantan, Borneo. So we are closer to the center of this region with 230 million population. The capital is moving to Kalimantan. And then in that sense, our East Malaysia side will gravitate towards the center of Borneo, which is going to be Kalimantan capital, New Jakarta. So I think KL have to take note, lah. You know, I mean, first of all, we have a distance, 2.5 hour flight between Sabah, Sarawak, and Kuala Lumpur, for example. And if they continue to ignore us, and not recognizing that we are equal partners and all that, there's a chance that, you know, we'll gravitate more towards that side, you know, with Indonesia and all that. Yeah. That is my concern.
Okay, all right, so for any readers later, so like how can this book educate those people who will read this on the issue that related with Sabah and Sarawak, and how will it actually bring the harmony to the Malaysia and give the strength of patriotism to the Malaysians?
Yeah, I think the book highlights some of our differences, of course, but most of all, I'm saying that let's understand each other, cultural and so on. Even Hadi has recognized Sabah Sarawak as being an example of living in harmony and all that. Tapi kadang-kadang cerita lain lah. You know? Tapi he has admitted that, okay, and even Mahathir has admitted, you know, that we are a good example of harmonious society. So what I'm trying to project in my book also, learn from us how to live in harmony and all that, and focus on human needs, humanitarian needs, not on race and religion. Race and religion cannot help you, okay? Cannot put bread and butter on your table, all right? But living together, working together, then we can unite and work towards a direction that can benefit the political and economical system in Malaysia.
Okay, I believe that all the readers will get that later. But like, what is actually your expectation from the reader after they read your book?
Well, I didn't have very much of a high expectation because it's a collection of my past writings, so it's nothing new. Like I mentioned to you, the fascinating thing about it, if you write one article, people read one article. After they finish reading, okay, they tend to forget. But when you put all your collection together in one book, it becomes, you know, a document where people can read from cover to cover. And a lot of my friends bought it, went on an aeroplane and say after 2.5 hours I finished reading the book and all that. So it's very exciting for me. But what's interesting is that I didn't expect my book to be that popular because a lot of people actually don't like to read about politics and so on and all what's going on in the capital. But somehow people have taken up interest in this book. Maybe the title is catchy and so on. But people have, you know, I mean, I've talked to a lot of writers, publishers. Maybe you can get one print and that's it, you know. But now it's out of print, so and they're producing more. So I'm glad that people have taken interest in the book.
Okay, so talking about the book is sold out, and what is like, how can people get this book later if they are interested?
Okay, it's in print. So I was told by my publisher it'll be out in June again. Okay, so it's available at Popular Bookstore. It's available at Kinokuniya, all the leading bookstores. So I'm very proud because very few Sabahans are given a chance. I mean, to see your book in a major bookstore like Kinokuniya is so heartwarming, you know, that actually my book is there among all the others who have written books before. And from Sabah, only one person is on the shelf there. You know. But my wife has joined me now. She's on the shelf also, a book.
kita telah sampai ke penghujungnya.
Yeah.
Just like another short question last. Is there any second version of this book?
Sorry?
Will there be any second version of this book?
Yeah, no, there won't be a second version, but I've written my second book, which is
Okay.
being edited now. I'm trying to target to launch it in September 16, which is Malaysia Day.
Okay.
So it's in the works now. So basically, my new book is very interesting. The title is The Social Contract from the Borneo perspective. So it's a subject that some people are familiar. The social contract is commonly being discussed time to time and so on. But it'll be an interesting book to put together because there's a lot of histories in there. It's not a history book, but I mentioned a lot of background, how we came about as Malaysia and so on. And I also included some old pictures which has not been seen before.
Okay. All right. So we have come to the end. So hopefully any readers here who will read this version of book or the next book that currently being written by Datuk Joe himself will get the insights and learn how does this Sabah and Sarawak people live and so on. So hopefully by reading this book, we will bring the harmony towards Malaysia together. I think so that's all. Thank you so much, Datuk, for coming today.
Terima kasih, Bani.
And thank you so much for all the audiences
Thank
today
you.
for being with us for this book
Thank you
review
for
session.
listening. Yeah.
Thank you very much Datuk Jo Samad and also Puan Farah. Baiklah, sebelum kita mengakhiri slot bicara karya ini, kita beri laluan untuk sesi penyerahan buku Unequal Partners, Race, Religion, Domination and Inequalities in East Malaysia kepada Perpustakaan Negeri Sabah. Penyerahan buku ini adalah tertakluk kepada enactment Perpustakaan Negeri Sabah di mana setiap penulis tempatan perlu menyerahkan 3 buah buku untuk disimpan di bawah koleksi penyerahan negeri. Baiklah, sekali lagi kita jemput Encik George Timbalan Pengarah Perpustakaan Negeri Sabah untuk menerima buku ini. Terima kasih Mr. George dan seterusnya kita jemput sekali lagi wakil dari Perpustakaan Negara Malaysia, dipersilakan. Kita beri laluan untuk sesi bergambar. Baiklah, dengan berlalunya sesi penyerahan buku sebentar tadi, maka tamatlah sudah slot dari Negeri Tabu Sabah untuk hari ini. Saya mengambil kesempatan ini untuk menjemput hadirin sekalian untuk mengunjungi Pavilion Sabah dan jumpa lagi di slot seterusnya pada hari esok di pentas utama ini pada pukul 4 petang. Sekian dan terima kasih.